Hello, everyone, and welcome to How to Bet or HowToBet.com podcast. It is the championship game. I'm Daryl Sean, along with Sean, the Genius Molinari Rodriguez, and hey, it's here. It goes quick. Once this thing starts, it's like that feast at Thanksgiving. You know, it takes forever to cook, but it takes about a minute and a half to eat. So the feast was here. We had the 64. Started with the 68 teams, then which was intriguing in itself because there was two good games, and then the 64, and boom! I mean, before you know it, we're here in the championship, and I know one guy's real happy, and that is Sean the Genius Miller. His Carolina Blue did what they had to do.
Nobody.
Well, they're coming in 8 seed. You're right. I'm not going
North Carolina in this game. There's nobody in the country. I know ESPN. They 51 guys, 51 people picked the Final Four people. Nobody had North Carolina. I had them winning the bracket, the East, and I also had them winning. I thought Arizona was going to win the title as a objective person, but I always make a bracket picking North Carolina as well. And
I'm going to let you pound your chest in a moment, and you can pound it because you were there the whole way. You're going to cash a big ticket. So let's. I'm going to let you pound your chest, but let me remind everybody to please, if you're watching on YouTube, please hit that like button, the notification bell, and of course, subscribe. We have promos. You go to howtobet.com. You're going to see promotions for various sports books around the country. If you've been there, you know how good they are. They're giving you free money. You see a scroll on the bottom. Neri, thanks for that. They're giving you money. You look at the scroll, but get there early and often. Things are changing. It'll show you the best money line odds from different sports books. If you like Kansas, there's lines out there that are 4. If you like North Carolina, there's 4.5. We're going to use the 4.5 line because we're going to, that's what we're seeing most of. But you can shop around. But of course, like I said, go to howtobet.com, subscribe, hit that notification bell, hit the like button. We appreciate it. So get there early and often. Remember, howtobet.com. This is our live show. This is the last show, of course, of the college basketball season. It's been great. UNC Kansas, as I just told you, it'll be 4 or 4.5. Shop around. The total seems to be consistent at 153.5, but I'm sure if you shop around, you can find something there as well. Sean, obviously, you had both games last night. You had Kansas and you had UNC. I had over. I'll tell you what, I like Villanova going in, and then I think I don't like to listen to outside influences too much because usually it hurts me. But I did, and I did shy away from the depth. I didn't take Kansas, but I laid off the game. I took the over in the game. I also took the over in the UNC Duke game. I didn't bet that game either. On the line, I bet the number. So 150. I had it at 150. I think I had 153. So so I went over on both. And I know sometimes I feel, and I'm going to let you pound your chest, I promise. Sometimes I feel because we do the show that I have to bet the games. Yeah. And since there was only 2, I really didn't like either one of them. So I decided to go over because I feel like I have to bet the game if we're doing the show. So I went over. So I was happy there. All right. Before we get into the numbers, pound away.
Yeah, look, I mean, there were some pretty good bet boosts yesterday. 25% boost on FanDuel or on DraftKings. I had North Carolina and Kansas. I had North Carolina money line, Kansas -4. Both of them hit. I also hit like a big soccer parlay yesterday. But look, I just obviously North Carolina fan, and it's hard to be objective when you're a fan of a team. Well, like anytime anybody asks me about this, I'm like, listen, I'm telling you, they're not an 8 seed. They're a top 10 team in the country preseason. They're a new coach. It took a little while to get going. Like they have all these talented players. I mean, you talk about like Coach K's recruiting class. This guy, Caleb Love, coming into college was like a top 5 guy. I mean, and he's the best player on the court last night. I don't care, Banchero, whatever. That guy took the game over in the second half and hit one of the biggest shots I've ever seen hit in a game, a contested 3 at the top of the arc, and it was, an unbelievable shot, hit the free throws down the line, ended up with 28 points. Baycott had 21 rebounds and 11 points. He's, on a little bit of a gimpy leg. This team is not an 8 seed. I didn't think they were an 8 seed. I thought it was fortuitous that they got an 8 seed in this place they were, because I could see a path to them getting to the final, like to out of the region. Once they get to the Final Four, it's tough, playing Gonzaga or playing Duke, whoever they're playing. But, anybody's good at this point. Playing Kansas now in the final. This Kansas team is really good. But, anybody that would listen, I was telling them, like, look, man, I'm telling you, Carolina. And I was on them every game. I picked them every game. I said, look, man, if you're going to be an underdog, they're an underdog every game, except for Marquette.
Well, they excuse the voice this morning. It was late. This has been late nights and early morning. So, listen, they're 5-0 during the tournament against the spread. 5-0 against the spread during the tournament. Kansas comes in 3-2 against the spread.
Here's the other thing that they do. It doesn't matter who they play. Every time I've been on, during the football show, you'd say a lot of times, hey, listen, maybe if you don't like the line, bet the Bills team total or bet the Chiefs team total. Because even if the other team keeps it close, the Chiefs are going to score 30 points. North Carolina in these games, last night, they're getting I didn't understand it. The team total was 73.5. I'm like, wait a second. They scored 94, 95 against Duke. They're throwing up 90 points for fun. They're throwing up 85 points for fun in this tournament. And the only game they didn't against St. Peter's, they were up by 30 and could have won by 100 if they wanted to. They just didn't, they didn't want to embarrass the team. So that's these team totals, sometimes. And I think, that's the one thing I think the How to Bet show has shown all these people is that you don't need to bet all the time on the game, the line before the game. You could bet live betting. You can do team totals. You can do first halves. There's 1,000 different ways to futures, obviously. There's so many different ways now. And now for me, I bet North Carolina at plus 20,000 to win the title. A $41 ticket's going to pay $5,000. Now I have to figure out what I'm going to do with the ticket. I'm
well, you are in control there. And that's a good point, Genius. You should explain to people. Listen, you're in a great spot. Some people are how they say gamblers, which, and they're going to let it ride and not even think about it. You have a chance to hedge the bet and win money no matter what you do here. And it's a good lesson too. I think you should explain that a little bit.
Yeah, look, if you get Kansas here, if I take Kansas on the money line, the only problem is the money line, you see that some of the money lines there are a little bit high. If I bet, the 185, I got to lay $1,850 to win 1,000. But if I do that, I'm guaranteed either $1,000 or $3,200. So there's a way you could do it, basically. You got to try to figure out what it is, but basically either way, either outcome, you're coming away with $22,000 or $2,200 or $2,300, whatever it is. Some gamblers will say, listen, man, for $40 ticket, I'm not, I think last night I could have hedged a little bit in that game, but I thought North Carolina was going to win a game. So I'm not betting Duke. There's no way. There's no way in the world I'm betting Duke anyway in that game. But so I took North Carolina on the money line. I said double down. So for me here, it's tough. I got to try to figure out, hey, listen, should I hedge here or should I try to take a chance to, I could also do, a couple hundred on 300 or something like that, or 400. So I don't lose money. The ticket was only $41. So there's ways to do it so you're not losing. But, if North Carolina wins this game, you have to weigh, because if you're like, man, at the beginning of the tournament, you say, this is what I think. And then when it comes, you get to the point and then you start to second guess yourself. Like you're saying, when you start to listen to other people, wait a second, I believed in this team the whole time. Nobody else did. I think they're going to do it. and then you like you're like, maybe I should hedge, maybe. And then, the guy, Chris Cheon from the By the Book Bets is just like, for the regional fight, he's like, man, just, I'm a gambler, bet it, stick with it. So it's a choice. I got to figure out what I'm going to do.
Yes, but you can't. But again, if people have stepped in, and this is the only time they bet college basketball is during March, during March and during the tournament, and they're not really, big time gamblers, and they made that bet, you can come out a winner no matter what happens here tomorrow night. So.
Here's the thing: like, you have to, I bet them to win the East, so I cashed a $1,300 ticket there. I bet them, during the tournament when they're on the money line. So, like, I mean, I'm up big in this. Like, no matter what, if North Carolina wins, obviously I'm up massive. If North Carolina loses the game, it'll suck for me because, you got to, once you get to the championship game, I think you got to win it at this point. It doesn't matter what.
There's no.
Yeah, you got to win the game.
Feel good about getting there.
Yeah, but like, if they lose and I just let it ride, I'm still up pretty big. Like, I had a really good tournament, couple thousand, whatever. Mm-hmm. But so this was actually a pretty good tournament. I know for some people, the favorite bettors, and you could got beat up here. I think, once again, if you're tuning into the How to Bet show, like, we did pretty well again.
Yeah, you did very well. I come up on the plus side, but you did very well. I mean,
well, you got it. Look, that's, we talk about people that are new to betting. It doesn't, like, my goal when I was betting soccer and some of these sports is, look, I want to win $50 a day. If I could be up 300 or 350 at the end of the week, it's not, $50 a day. I mean, it's a good amount of money, but, like, there's people betting, thousands of dollars or whatever. Yeah. If you win $50 a day on average, at the end of the month, it's, $1,400. I mean, that's a decent amount of, it's a mortgage, it's a whatever, it's a, you're making money. Like, as long as you're up, I always say, like, if you're up $20 or if you're up whatever, it's better, you're better than being down. So
yeah, absolutely. And we do remind everybody, bet with your head, not with your heart. Don't go over your means. Some people bet just for entertainment. Some people bet to make money. And you could do both, but don't go over your means. And if you do have a problem, or think you do, or know somebody does, there's help out there, including 1-800-GAMBLER. So get that.
I think there's another thing too. Like, this is, during obviously my main sport is soccer. Mm-hmm. So during, and I think we were pretty good during football season, but, during the World Cup in 2018, I had France to win 6 months before the tournament. I had them to win in 2016 in the Euros, and they didn't win. They lost in the final. I didn't hedge, in the final.
I remember it.
I was so mad. Like, and they dominated the game, and, like, they lost. So the same thing happened. Like, I killed the tournament. It's the same thing basically like this. Like, all through the tournament, I was winning. And then it got to the final, and France is in the final again, and everyone's like, you got to hedge. And I said, no, I'm doubling down. I took a -1. They ended up winning 4-2. But, like, when you get these chances, with this tournament, North Carolina's in the final, when you get these chances, because it doesn't come along that often. Like, North Carolina, I mean, they've been in 3 of the last 6 finals now. And 7 years, obviously, there was no tournament in 2020. But and when you get these as heavy favorites the other times, when you get these chances to kind of really crush the books, it's really good, because I don't bet like, we don't bet a lot. Like, I don't bet a lot. Like, I don't bet 20 games a week, and I don't bet, all the football, and I don't bet all the soccer. Like, I'm real strategic about what I bet. And, if it comes out, I do really well. So I think there's something to that. We talked about this during How to Bet a lot. You can't bet every game. You can't bet, you're not
going to win. That's for sure.
Yeah. For this game now, I mean, there's certain bets you're going to look at and you say, you know what, like, maybe I like the total better. Maybe I like the team total better. I don't really like the line. So you got to just be strategic and say, listen, I like this. And then, you don't have a rooting interest in the game or whatever. So there's different ways to win.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to remind everybody again, you're watching us live on How to Bet or howtobet.com podcast. Go to howtobet.com. hit that like button, the subscribe button, the notification button. Yes, the subscribe button. Subscribe. Early morning live show after a late night of basketball.
I got to give a little shout too. I mean, I don't know, like the views for these shows have been massive.
Hey, we appreciate everybody.
Yeah,
we really do. I mean, from the bottom of my heart, and I know I speak for Sean and Neri, we really appreciate this. I know there's a trillion different options for you to be watching and listening, and I think so we do appreciate it. I think one of the reasons, Sean, is we've been really good at this. I mean, we've been good. We've been making people money. We hear, in our inboxes or, social media, we're getting a lot of thank yous, and we've been really good at it. So we thank you. You're welcome. Keep on going. We're going to keep on going. We have a lot ahead, and it's been great for us. It's been great for us. We love it, and that's why we ask you, go hit that like button, notification bell, and subscribe to howtobet.com. Go to howtobet.com. You're going to find promotions from sportsbooks all over the country. They're giving you free money. You see the scroll on the bottom. Yeah. And, of course, there you could shop around. It's going to show you all these sports books. It'll show you the best money lines for North Carolina, the best money line for Kansas, so you can shop around and make some free money and do the best for your option. I'm going to tell you now, it's been an outstanding run for us. So here we go. North Carolina and Kansas. It's last time these two teams met in 2013. Sean and Neri, 2013, March 24th, third round, 2013. Kansas is a 1 seed, Carolina an 8 seed. Same as tomorrow night, 1 versus 8. In that game, Kansas beat ex-Kansas coach Roy Williams 70-58. I don't think that score is going to be as low in this one, but UNC comes in winners of 11-12. As I said, 5-0 against the spread in the tournament after that 81-77 win over Duke. Kansas has won their last 10 games, 3-2 against the spread in the tournament after that 81-65 win over Villanova. And I know they dominated. Here's the deal. It didn't matter whether Duke won or UNC won last night as far as Kansas is concerned. McCormack is not going to have the ability to get the ball as free as he did against Villanova. Villanova, the ironic part about Villanova, they made it that far, but since the beginning of the season, everybody was worried about their inside game. Hey, we don't have an inside. They don't have an inside game. They don't have an inside. Yeah. It really did catch up to them last night. They didn't have the inside game. Of course, they didn't have the depth, but even with the guard out, they didn't have the inside game to stop McCormack, who had probably his best game of his career.
Yeah, and that's the thing. At some point, you have to have a little bit of size in this tournament. When you look back at these, the last, obviously Baylor and Gonzaga last year, Kansas and North Carolina this year, they both have that presence inside. North Carolina's massive team. Kansas is pretty big as well. So, if I think you can win some games, and Villanova really got they got a really good trip through the tournament. And, it happens sometimes. You talk, in horse racing, you get a really good trip, and, they got a really good matchup. They played a Houston team that was basically a mirror of them, and they really shut them down. But, Kansas is, Kansas was never really troubled in that game. And, once again, I talk about this Kansas team, and really, really impressed. And I think we just, two things. I think, the Big 12, I think when we underestimated them a little bit this year. I mean, it's tough because, Baylor's obviously the defending champion, and, you got some good teams. But and they were ranked pretty highly all year. And obviously the ACC was pretty good. But this Kansas team is tough, and they have some size. And it was just – I think it was one of these games where you look at the score after about 10 minutes and you're like, man, Villanova is really tough for them to stay in this game.
A lot of times, the team jumps out like 7-0, 10-0. I don't worry even if I have the other side. Sometimes I even like it. But you could see that wasn't going to go their way. If they couldn't hit those outside shots consistently, it wasn't going to go their way. And it was a tough night for them for sure. And the lack of depth definitely hurt them in that one. So you have 4.5, depending on where you're looking. We're going to go with the 4.5 line because that's most of the lines. Most of the sports books have it at 4.5. 153.5 is the total in this game. This is a really good game. This should be a really good game. Again, I think you saw a Kansas team last night that looked dominant, but I don't think they're going to be as dominant inside with McCormick. Abachi, he was unbelievable. He hit his first 6 threes. He's 8. I think he's 8 of his last 9 from beyond the arc. Remy Martin's terrific. But this North Carolina team, as we said,
they're big.
Of 11-12, they're good.
They're big.
I'll tell you right now. I mean, all right, I'm going to go with you for Neri. How do you see this game?
Listen, UNC just so many playmakers yesterday. Sean, I know you're talking about that huge shot from Love, and it was well contested. But Brady Manick, that
unbelievable, dude.
That stepped up so huge
after a slow start last night.
Yeah, and that play,
RJ Davis kept him in the game in the first half. Man, he was unbelievable in the first half.
That corner 3 where he just didn't touch that's just court awareness. You can't teach that. Kansas is gonna have to bring it, man. Just like you guys said, they're outmatched size wise and talent wise. I mean, how do you stop a team that you have almost a bunch of 7-footers and they can shoot from long range. So they're gonna have to defend the perimeter for sure, and they're gonna have to box out for those rebounds. Paycott had 21, 22 rebounds.
Yeah, the most he had 21. He had he's 20 and 22 last game. I mean, the dude he's just a machine.
Yeah, I mean that almost impresses me more than however many points you want to put up. That's just putting your team in a good position to win.
Yeah, and they're going to have to rebound against Kansas. One thing that Villanova really had struggled with a little bit in key situations in that game. So, Neri, you're on board first. 4.5, 153.5. How do you see this going?
Listen, I went against UNC for the first time in the tournament this year, last game, but now that Duke's out, I don't see UNC losing this game. They're way too talented, and McCormick and Martin are killers for Kansas, but they need more guys if they want to take down the Tar Heels.
Yeah, now, so it sounds like you think they could absolutely win the game outright, and if that's the case, you go to howtobet.com. Again, various different sports books you see right now. Bet365 at plus 165, Betway at 165. So if you are a North Carolina believer here that they can absolutely win outright, go to howtobet.com and get there again and shop around because the money line odds definitely vary here from different sports books.
Yes.
All right, Sean. I'll go next because I'm gonna challenge you again to bet with your head and not with your heart here, which is sometimes difficult when you love a team that much. But I think you could do it. In this game, I tell you again, Kansas looked dominant last night, but it's just a different matchup. It's a different matchup. UNC's big, they're fast. I was so impressed with them. I've been impressed with them the whole entire tournament. I've won money with them the whole entire tournament. I certainly will take the 4.5, and I will put a shot on the money line. I think UNC wins this game. And I'm a little surprised that I will be a little surprised if at tip time the line stays at 4.5. I think it goes down a little bit, so I'm going to bet it now at 4.5. And I will put money on UNC to win the game outright. I also think that this game will go over the total of 153.5. Like I said, last night I had the total over in the Duke North Carolina game. I don't think either one of these teams can be stopped right now. Although I will say this, I think UNC has a better chance to stop Kansas's offense than Kansas has to stop UNC's offense. So I probably also will take a shot at UNC total, just the UNC total to go over as well.
Yeah, I think it's going to be in the 80s. These are look. here's the thing too. Once again, last year, before basically in January, February, you started seeing these lines. I've never seen anything like this before, where it was like Baylor and Gonzaga minus 118, everyone else minus 118. And if you bet it, obviously they played in the final. They were by far the two best teams, and they played really well and they got to the tournament. Before this season started, obviously, Kansas was a top 5 team. North Carolina was a top 10 team. Villanova was a top 10 team. Duke was a top 10 team. Top 5 team. In a lot of things, obviously, because of the recruiting class. Before this tournament started, North Carolina plus 20,000. But I think a lot of this, even the line in this game, it's the 8 next to their seed and the 1 next to Kansas seed, because a lot of people that are betting it, obviously, hey, man, this is an 8 seed. They have no chance. This is, against the 1 seed. But this isn't an 8th seeded team, obviously. In the last month, they have 2 wins over Duke, 2 really impressive wins over Duke, and the 2 highest pressure games. You ended Coach K's career at Cameron, and they ended Coach K's career, in a game that was really crazy. And I think the thing that I was most impressed with, I'm watching the introductions. I'm getting all hyped, and the fans are getting all hyped, and the North Carolina guys just walked out and they're just like whatever. They were just so calm. This team, Baycott, is so calm. He doesn't get excited. You look at him, he's just his level never really gets up and down. I think Love is like that. This team is really just centered. Really calm team. Hubert Davis obviously is a great coach. They love him. They play for him. I think I don't know why the line is so high. I thought maybe the line would be a little closer. I think now with this line, you're going to get a lot of people betting North Carolina. But obviously, I'm going money line North Carolina. I'll take the points as well. I think North Carolina scores team total is over. It's once again, it's in the mid 70s. I don't get it. I don't see any situation here where this game isn't a low scoring game, in the, it's a 50, 63.
You don't see that. You don't see that 2013 finish of 70 to 58, huh?
No,
I don't either.
No, The crazy thing is, the first game I ever saw at the Final Four, the first North Carolina game I ever saw at the Final Four was the first game I saw was UCLA and Memphis. But Kansas played North Carolina in 2008, and I was sitting next to Curry Kirkpatrick, because he went to North Carolina. I gotta see it. I was way up in the rafters and saying bought a ticket off of some UCLA guy who was bouncing and sat 10 rows from the court. And they just it was 28-12. And Roy Williams never called a timeout. It got to 40-12 Kansas, and North Carolina. Danny Green had a 3 in the second half to tie the game. They just came all the way back. It's just both these teams can score. They've always been like that. North Carolina all year scores. Kansas scores. I know, Kansas defense has played well, but they don't play anybody like North Carolina. North Carolina, Manic is big. Leaky Black, we don't talk about him enough. He goes on their best player and shuts them down. Banchero yesterday. Tell me who from Duke had a real big game last night.
Leaky Black's a terrific player, and
and
he goes unnoticed, really.
6'8", 6'8", Manic 6'9", Baycott 6'11". Caleb Love is a big guard, 6'4", 6'5". They have some size. RJ Davis was unbelievable in the first half. He kept him in that game. This team is really good. They don't have a lot of depth. That may be an issue, but I think at this point now, it's just
so you're all in. You're all in North Carolina.
I can't. I'm not taking Kansas.
So here's where we're at. The tournament starts. We knew it was going to be wide open. 3 number 1 seeds go down. The favorites to begin were Gonzaga and Arizona. They bounced. Baylor was in trouble because of injuries. They were number 1 seed out. We have a 15 seed that goes to the Elite 8. We have a 10 seed that goes to the Elite 8. It was a heck of a tournament, and now we're down to a 1 versus 8. As you said, this tournament was wide open. UNC should not have been an 8. They were because, I guess, earlier in the season they didn't play well and they had some losses. So they become an 8 seed. So here's where we're at, a 1 versus 8. And the 3 of us are going with that 8 seed at 4.5. We're also 3 of us taking that money line. We're going over the total. So that's where we're at. It was a great tournament. The rundown is, I mean, it's here. It's here tomorrow night from New Orleans. The Big Easy was hopping, and it should be a great.
Franklin Street was hopping last night, man. I was trying to wait up to see like Franklin Street after that, because whenever they beat Duke, it goes crazy. And like, but it's like the time lapse. Like 2 minutes after the game, the people just empty out of the bars, and there's like 20,000 people. But I mean, it's just the crazy thing about this too is like like I said, North Carolina has to win now. Like they have to win the game. They beat Duke, and that could be an issue. Like, hey, was that the final? But they have to win.
That is one thing. The one thing is, can they bounce back from that game? Sometimes it just takes everything out of you.
Yeah.
But I think they can.
And just the crazy thing is, man, everything was about Coach K, and Hubert Davis is that that really calm guy, and it's just there's all kinds of stories.
It's a happy day for you. I have a feeling you're going to be happy on Tuesday morning or
Monday
night.
Ask the writer assistant AD about that Coach K story.
Nothing we can say on the air right now. So
Yeah.
all right, so there you have it. You have the 3 of us like North Carolina plus 4.5. We also
Scares me a little.
Win the game. I think the line will go down. Remember to go to howtobet.com, like us, hit that the notification bell, and subscribe. Please subscribe. Go to howtobet.com. You're going to see various sports books around the country. You're going to see promotions. You could shop around. You see the promotions scrolling on the bottom of the screen. You could shop around for the best odds if you like UNC, best odds if you like Kansas. So get there early, get there often. Games tomorrow night in the Big Easy. So don't hesitate. And again, if you like UNC, I think that line goes down. I could be wrong, but I think it goes down. Game time 9:20 tomorrow night Eastern time from New Orleans. And there you have it. Remember to go to howtobet.com. Please subscribe. We appreciate everybody watching throughout. We'll be back during the season. There's still more sports to go. I know we had a great football season. We had a great college basketball tournament, but there's still plenty of sports to go. So we will be back with you on howtobet.com. So there you have it, folks. A great tournament. We appreciate you being with us. UNC, I guess at this point I have to say it. Go Heels.
Go Tar Heels.
Go Tar Heels. The light blue of UNC over Kansas. That's who we're taking. Again, we appreciate you watching us, listening to us on all the outlets. So for the last time here in the tournament, here in March, it is now April, I know, but for the March, for the tournament, NCAA tournament, for football, again, we'll be back. There's plenty of sports. For Sean, the Genius Miller, Neri Rodriguez, I'm Daryl Fine saying so long. Go Tar Heels. Howtobet.com. Get there.
Go Heels. Let's go.